Welcome back, everyone. If you caught video 1, you now know the silent enemy we're up against. Passivity. That sneaky force that keeps us stuck, whispering that it's safer to wait, that tomorrow's the day to start. We've seen how it creeps into our lives, locking us in comfort zones and stealing our dreams one hesitant moment at a time. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay trapped. Today, in video 2, we're flipping the script. I'm about to show you the most powerful ways to break free from passivity once and for all, to stop waiting, start acting, and build a life full of purpose and unstoppable momentum. This is where the real change begins. And trust me, the final key I'll share at the end? It's a game changer, so let's dive in. Your future self is cheering you on. The problem with passivity is that it works in the opposite direction. Small moments of hesitation and avoidance also compound, leading to a life of regret. But here's something most people never consider. Passivity is not just about big decisions. It shows up in small ways every single day. It's the hesitation before speaking up in a meeting, the delay before starting a workout, the endless scrolling on social media instead of working on something meaningful. Every moment of passivity reinforces the habit of inaction, making it harder to change. This is why self-awareness is crucial. You must begin to notice when and where passivity appears in your life. Ask yourself, what are the things I keep postponing? Where am I letting fear or comfort dictate my choices? What would my life look like if I stopped hesitating and started acting? But before we dive into the most powerful way to break free from passivity, there's one more thing you need to understand. Something that is keeping millions of people stuck in lives they don't love. And once you realize what it is, you'll never look at passivity the same way again. There is a hidden force behind passivity that most people never recognize, and it's one of the most powerful psychological barriers to action. It's not fear, laziness, or a lack of motivation. It's something far more deceptive: identity paralysis. Identity paralysis happens when you unconsciously define yourself by your current limitations rather than your potential. It's the belief that this is just the way I am, or I've always been this way. And when you believe that your personality, habits, and behaviors are fixed, change feels impossible. Think about it. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, how likely are you to stick to a new habit? If you believe you're not a natural leader, will you ever step up in moments that require confidence? If you convince yourself that you're bad at making decisions, will you ever truly take control of your life? Your identity shapes your actions, and your actions shape your future. This is why people remain stuck in cycles of passivity. Not because they can't change, but because they don't believe they can change. Psychologist Carol Dweck, in her research on mindset, discovered that people generally operate from one of two perspectives: a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities, intelligence, and character traits are unchangeable. They avoid challenges, fearing failure will expose their limitations. In contrast, those with a growth mindset believe that they can develop and improve through effort and learning. They embrace challenges, knowing that failure is not a reflection of who they are, but a stepping stone to growth. Now, here's the critical insight. Passivity thrives in a fixed mindset. If you believe your circumstances define you, you'll never take action to change them. But the moment you shift to a growth mindset, when you realize that every skill, trait, and ability can be developed, passivity loses its power over you. So, how do you make this shift? How do you break free from the identity paralysis that keeps you passive? The answer lies in identity-based action. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, explains that true change doesn't come from setting goals. It comes from changing the way you see yourself. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you need to become. If you want to be a confident person, start acting like one. If you want to be disciplined, make decisions that a disciplined person would make. Every small action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. This is why action must come before motivation. Most people believe they need to feel ready before they take action. But the truth is, action itself creates motivation. When you take even the smallest step forward, you shift your identity. You start to see yourself differently. And once that shift happens, momentum builds. But there's one more layer to this. Passivity is not just about mindset or identity. It's also about emotional resistance. Many people remain stuck because taking action triggers deep emotional discomfort. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's the fear of judgment. Maybe it's the fear of leaving behind an old version of yourself. Neuroscientists have discovered that the brain treats psychological threats the same way it treats physical threats. When you consider stepping outside your comfort zone, your brain perceives it as danger and activates the amygdala, the part responsible for fear and survival instincts. This is why taking action often feels so difficult. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to protect you from uncertainty. But here's the key. You don't need to eliminate fear to take action. You just need to act anyway. Every time you take action despite fear, you rewire your brain. You teach it that discomfort is not a threat. You build what neuroscientists call psychological flexibility, the ability to move forward even when you don't feel completely ready. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. So if passivity is rooted in mindset, identity, and emotional resistance, what is the ultimate way to break free from it? The answer is simple, but most people never realize it. And once you do, everything changes. The ultimate way to break free from passivity is to embrace radical responsibility. Radical responsibility means fully accepting that your life is in your hands. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more blaming circumstances, other people, or even your past. It means realizing that no one is coming to save you, and that every choice you make, or fail to make, is shaping your future. This is a difficult truth for many people to accept because it eliminates every justification for inaction. But it's also the most liberating truth you'll ever embrace, because once you take full responsibility, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for life to change and start changing your life. But here's where most people go wrong. They believe taking responsibility means figuring everything out at once. They believe they need a perfect plan, complete confidence, and absolute certainty before they take action. This is another trap. The truth is, action creates clarity, not the other way around. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, once shared a powerful insight about decision-making. If you wait for 100% certainty before making a decision, you'll always be too late. He explained that in life, you'll never have perfect information. You'll never feel fully ready. But if you can make a decision with even 70% of the information available, you should act. Because action leads to learning, and learning leads to better decisions. This is why successful people aren't the ones who have everything figured out. They're simply the ones who take action despite uncertainty. They start before they feel ready. They take small steps, learn from experience, and adjust along the way. But what about failure? This is one of the biggest reasons people remain passive. They fear failure so much that they'd rather do nothing than risk making a mistake. But here's what they don't realize. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of success. Thomas Edison, when asked about his repeated failures while inventing the light bulb, famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the mindset of every successful person throughout history. They understand that failure is not a reflection of their worth or ability. It's simply feedback. It's information. And the only true failure is refusing to try. So, how do you put all of this into action? How do you finally break free from passivity and start living with purpose and momentum? First, eliminate the idea that you need to feel motivated before you take action. Motivation is a result of action, not a prerequisite for it. Instead of waiting to feel inspired, make action a non-negotiable habit. Second, redefine your identity. Stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles with action or has always been this way. Your past doesn't define your future. Decide today that you are a person of action, and then prove it with your behavior. Third, lower the barrier to action. Many people stay stuck because they believe they need to take massive steps. But the truth is, progress comes from small, consistent actions. If something feels overwhelming, break it down. Want to start a new project? Spend just 5 minutes working on it. Want to build a new habit? Start with the simplest possible version. Small steps lead to big changes. Finally, commit to making decisions faster. Overthinking is one of the biggest contributors to passivity. The longer you hesitate, the more doubt and fear take control. Set a rule for yourself. When faced with a decision, give yourself a short window to decide, whether it's 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or 1 day. Then take action and move forward. Because at the end of the day, life rewards action. Opportunities don't wait. Time doesn't wait. The future is being shaped right now by the choices you make. So the real question is, what will you do next? Will you continue to wait, overthink, and hesitate? Or will you take control, step forward, and start creating the life you truly want? The choice is yours. And that choice, more than anything else, will determine your future. Thanks for looking.